With just hours to go before it goes to polls, Pakistan is all geared up. The deployment of the forces on ground is now complete, with over 370,000 security personnel stationed across the length and breadth of the nation, dotting polling stations spread throughout the country. The stationing of the troops comes amid a recent decision by election authorities to grant military officers broad powers inside polling booths. Now, that decision has stoked fears of possible manipulation ahead of the electoral contest. Campaigning came to an end yesterday, with major leaders holding their final rallies. The ruling Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz has suffered a major setback with the conviction of its major leaders Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Maryam Nawaz. In the absence of the two leaders, Sharif's brother Shehbaz Sharif has become the face of the party. That contest is largely being viewed as a two-party fight between the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz and cricketing legend Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. The PTI leader is hoping to secure a victory this time over, with many claiming that he enjoys the army's tacit support. The election is also important for another party, the Pakistan People's Party. 29-year-old son of the Bhutto family, Bilawal Bhutto, is making his electoral debut and is expected to play the role of a kingmaker. The son of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, who was assassinated 11 years ago, Bilawal Bhutto is contesting the polls from his mother's seat, Lyari. The country has witnessed massive violence in the run-up to the elections. A string of suicide bomb attacks at political rallies killed nearly 160 people in less than a week, including a candidate from Imran Khan's party on Sunday. A total of 849 directly elected seats are up for grabs in the elections, and over 12,500 candidates, including a number of hardline clerics, are contesting the polls to the parliament and 4 provincial assemblies. And Pakistan is on the verge of bankruptcy, so revival of its economy is going to be the biggest challenge for the next government. Imran Khan, who, as many polls predict, could be the country's next prime minister, realizes that. Let's give you an idea first about Pakistan's debt crisis. Pakistan's debt is approximately 70% of its GDP at present. Pakistan owes $90 billion to external lenders. Debt due to the CPEC project constitutes close to $54 billion. The chief of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan, pitched for better ties with India to boost his country's trade. He said that both the countries could benefit from the opening up of trade ties. In an interview accessed by WION, Imran Khan pointed out the challenges faced by Pakistan economically and also gave out a roadmap of how his party aims to stop the country's economic condition from deteriorating further.
The biggest challenge Pakistan faces is we are bankrupt. We have sunk into debts, and we do not have the capacity to pay the debts, and therefore we are sinking in more debt. So we are in a debt trap. We can't raise enough finances to run pay for our expenses, so we have to borrow money. And we have reached a stage where we are not capable of paying back our debts. And so what will we do? What is the biggest challenge the government that comes in has to face? Number one, it has to raise revenues. Have enough money to pay for your expenses. How does it do that? It does that by, number one, strengthening the state institutions that will do two things: collect revenue and stop corruption, because corruption means our system is hemorrhaging. So we have the twin problem is why we have these deficits, because we do not have the institutions which can collect money and which can stop the corruption. So strengthen state institutions immediately, and that you strengthen them by ending cronyism, corruption, because you can only be corrupt if you weaken the state institution, the regulators. So you put people, and we are already trying to play notifying people who can take on the main state institutions, mainly the FBR, which is the revenue collection. So how to collect revenues. And strengthen the institutions, cut down corruption, raise revenues, improve governance. That brings in investment, because you need good governance to bring in investment. At the moment, we are rock bottom in investment. And hence, make Pakistan stand on its feet. Very difficult. It's not easy. Let me just qualify. We are in our worst economic crisis right now. But it's doable if we follow these steps, strengthen our institutions, and then the money we raise, we spend on our human beings.
Meanwhile, the Islamabad High Court has sent a notice to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chairman Imran Khan. The summons was sent following a plea regarding Imran Khan's disqualification. The petitioner has argued that Imran Khan did not disclose the name of his daughter, Tyrion, from Sita White while filing his nomination papers. The cricketer-turned-politician, who is the front-runner for the post of the Prime Minister, is contesting from 5 seats in Islamabad. He is contesting election in Islamabad 2 NA 53 area against Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, who succeeded Nawaz Sharif as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. On the first leg of his 5-day, 3-nation Africa tour, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced a $200 million line of credit for Rwanda. Prime Minister Modi held wide-ranging talks with the Rwandan President Paul Kagame and discussed various measures to boost the bilateral ties between the two nations. As part of his 2-day Rwanda visit, Prime Minister Modi also met business leaders. He also addressed members of the Indian diaspora, where he promised to open an Indian mission to improve connection with Indians.
We invite Minister Wachu.
Prime Minister Modi also gifted 200 cows sourced locally to a village in Rwanda's eastern province as part of the Girinka program. Under the scheme, each and every poor family is given 1 cow each. The National Social Protection Scheme was personally initiated by the President of Rwanda. The Indian Prime Minister is now in Uganda before he heads to Johannesburg for the BRICS summit. Prime Minister Modi's visit comes just a day after Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Rwanda. This is the first time that a Chinese head of state has paid a state visit to the African nation. After Rwanda, President Jinping will pay a state visit to South Africa and attend the 10th BRICS summit. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Modi will also head to South Africa to attend that summit. Speaking a little bit more about those 200 cows sourced locally to a village in Rwanda's eastern province and handed over by the Indian leader to Rwanda as a gift as a part of the Girinka program. Under the scheme, this is the National Social Protection Scheme. But why is India gifting those cows to Rwanda? India's gift of 200 cows will boost the livelihoods of people there. The program was set up with the aim of reducing child malnutrition rates and increasing household incomes. Under the Girinka model, 1 cow brings nutrition, sustenance and employment. It provides a stable income for a family. To date, more than 200 families have benefited from that scheme. And we spoke to Michael Baleke, correspondent from Kampala in Uganda. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Prime Minister Modi has received full military honors while he was here in Uganda. Now, his perspective, the perspective and how Prime Minister Modi is seen to visit these countries is that this opens, of course, a new area of cooperation between India and Africa in general. I would say that this is cooperation in the area of food security. We're talking about the area of security. These are key issues for Africa and key issues for India. And we have also seen in Rwanda issues to do with renewable energy, especially on the solar front. So Prime Minister Modi has signed actually some cooperation agreements while he was there with them. In Uganda, of course, he's expected to also sign some lines of credit and extend lines of credit in the area of agriculture and in the area of energy. These, in a way to put and increase India's influence in Africa.
On to Greece now, where 60 people have died and more than 104 others have been injured after forest fires raged near the capital Athens, marking the deadliest blaze to hit the country in a decade. Greece has declared 3 days of mourning over the deadly wildfires. The fire in Mati village was by far the country's worst since blazes killed dozens in August 2007. The fire was one of several that broke out in the country amid a sweltering heat wave. Greece has issued an urgent appeal, meanwhile, for help to tackle the fires, which raged uncontrolled in several places, destroying homes and disrupting major transport links. Greece said it needed air and land assets from its European Union partners. Firefighters battled the wildfires that raged through the Greek seaside areas. Military drones remained in the air in the high winds to help officials direct more than 600 firefighters on the ground. Rescue crews reported finding bodies of more than 20 people huddled closely together near a beach northeast of the capital city. Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras cut short a visit to Bosnia and returned to Athens to preside over an emergency response meeting with fire chiefs and government officials.
Είναι μια δύσκολη στιγμή για την Αττική. Είναι μια δύσκολη νύχτα για την Ελλάδα. Αυτή τη στιγμή πάνω από 600 άνδρες και γυναίκες της πυροσβεστικής επιχειρούν. Πάνω από 300 οχήματα επιχειρούν σε 3 μεγάλα μέτωπα.
Meanwhile, hot weather conditions continue in Japan as well, where temperatures have hit a record high. In fact, at least 65 people have died within a week. Just yesterday, the temperatures peaked at 41.1 degrees Celsius, that's 106 degrees Fahrenheit, in Komagaya, which is a city near the capital, Tokyo. This broke the previous national record of 41 degrees Celsius from 2013. In fact, more than a dozen cities have witnessed temperatures ranging around 40 degrees Celsius. Japan's Disaster Management Agency has urged people to stay indoors in air-conditioned spaces, drink adequate water, and take sufficient rest to prevent heat exhaustion. This summer, more than 10,000 people have been taken to the hospitals as a result of the heat conditions. A number of senior citizens died as a result of the intense heat. Japan's summers are notoriously hot and humid, and hundreds of people die each year from heat stroke. And today marks the hottest day of the year in the United Kingdom as well. Temperatures as high as 33.3 degrees Celsius were recorded in Santon-Down-Home in Suffolk. A level 3 health watch alert still remains in place for much of the east and southeast parts of England. Warnings have been issued urging the people to avoid the sun and stay indoors between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. The National Farmers Union has warned of crops parched to the bone and livestock farmers using winter rations. Lack of rainfall has made weather conditions worse. Several places have had 54 consecutive dry days, worsening the heat conditions.